So this is problem 7 2B. A lot of times I'll work through the B problems so that you can understand the A problems. They are basically the same except for different numbers. So this problem is on petty cash. The first thing the problem asks us to do is to establish or set up the petty cash fund. So I've done that journal entry. We debit petty cash because that's we have more of that. And the cash came out of the main checking account, so that has less money in it. So that's the entry to set up the petty cash account. Okay, so then on the 15th, they replenish the petty cash account. And usually when you're doing a journal entry, you do all the debit entries first and the credit entries second. But with these journal entries for petty cash, it's really better to start off saying, well, how much cash do we need to get this fund back up to $100? And in this problem, they say that we wrote a check for $96.90. So we know we wrote a check. This is the credit entry for $96.90. So that's the amount of cash it takes to get the fund back up to the $100 it started at. Now, the second step is we say, okay, so where did the money go? And here's where we tally up the receipts that we have in the box. So there's a receipt for freight out. So we would debit freight out. And that one was for $51. We have some postage expense. For $20.50. Go like this, I guess. We have some entertainment expense. I'm abbreviating here because these videos take a long time to load, and we don't have that much time. And then there's miscellaneous expense for $6.10. Okay, so this is step 1, how much cash do we need? Step 2, tally up the receipts. Step 3 is to see, okay, do the debits equal the credits? Okay, so here's our debits, and here's our credits, and we will see that they do not. We will see that there is a $380 discrepancy here, and that's where we use the account cash over insured. And I'm going to just indent this a little bit more. This is the cash, and this is the difference between what we needed to replenish the account and the amount of the receipts that we have to account for that. In other words, there was a mistake made somewhere. Either too much change was given, too little change was given, we lost a receipt. But this $3.80 is basically what we cannot account for this month. So that's why I do it as a 3-step process. Number 1, how much cash do we need? Number 2, add up the receipts. If they are equal, you're done, but if they're not, then you need to use the cash over insured account. Okay, so they replenish again on the 31st, and we can go through the same procedure there. They say they wrote a check for $95.90, so we did cash for $95.90. And then you tally up the receipts, and here we had our freight out for $43.50. We had contribution expense, charitable contributions expense of $20. Okay, and these are the kind of things that petty cash end up being used for. More postage expense for $20.10, and miscellaneous expense of $12.30. So then we say, okay, do our debits equal our credits? And in this case, they do. So we're done. We don't have to do step 3. We did step 1, how much cash do we need to replenish? Step 2, how much of that can we account for with our receipts? And we don't need step 3 because it added up. Okay, so on the 15th, we go through and we do the same thing. We're going to replenish the petty cash. On the 15th, they again tell us how much of the check we wrote was for. So the check was for $98. Okay. And then we total up our receipts, and in this case we have more freight out. We have more entertainment expense. We also have some postage. Miscellaneous, and these are the ones that we have the receipts for. So the freight out was $40.20, $21 for entertainment, $16, and miscellaneous expense of $19.80. Okay, so when we add these up, we do not get $98. We are $1 off, and so that is our cash over and short, which you notice can be a debit or a credit depending on whether you're over or short. As far as a control item goes, as long as the cash over and short is not a huge amount, chances are most companies are going to just let it go. But if your cash over and short ends up being $20 or $30 every time the account is replenished, then that's something that, according to good internal control procedures, you might want to look into. Okay, so now that's our 8/15 entry. On the 16th, they decide to increase the petty cash account to $150. Already it has 100 in it, so to increase it to 150, we simply need to go petty cash 50, and we get an additional $50 out of the main checking account. Okay? Sometimes it's helpful to do the ledger accounts on these because you can see mechanically how all of this works. A lot of students will just do this entry for 150, which would get the account up to 250 instead of the desired 150. Okay, so now when we go to replenish it, let's go through the same procedure. They wrote a check for, they replenished it by writing a check for $137. Okay, so this is on 8/31, so it's cash 137. And you notice that we're trying to get it back up to 150. And so then we do our freight out. We look at all our receipts. What have we got? We have more entertainment. We have some postage. And so we go 74 for the freight, 43.20, 17.70. And when we add these up, they don't quite come out even. We're 210 off, and that is our cash over and short. Okay, so that's about as bad as the petty cash problems get. If you can understand this, you're probably all set.